Hi guys, and welcome back to my home. Today we are shooting a lovely Christmas festive video for you. As you can see, I've been in the garden gathering some flowers. These are some old fading hydrangeas. I've got some branches from my silver birch tree, and I'm going to try, because I've got no time to go out and buy flowers, I'm going to try and make a nice little arrangement. And I'm also going to show you about Christmas trees, our beautiful garland that we've got going up the staircase. And I'm just going to share a few of my tips around this Christmas period of like gift ideas and fun things to do if you're living in or around London. So I hope you enjoy it. I was planning on chopping some really nice white bits of the silver birch because I thought that would look really nice above the fireplace, but the bits that I can reach are all just brown and not that wintry or Christmassy. I want the one at the very top. I'm going to put these in the blue and white chinoiserie vases on the fireplace, if I can. Oh, this is harder than it looks. Because I don't have any flowers and I don't have time to get any flowers, and I'm giving you a video on making your house look Christmassy with a couple of branches. But I have a vision and I think it's going to work. And what I like about this is, obviously I wouldn't advocate that you go and do this in a park, but if you do have a garden or a friend who's got a garden, it's a nice cheap way of decorating your house, and it just goes to show you don't have to spend a lot of money. So I'm going to rummage this together, and if the worst comes to the worst, I might go and get like a bunch of flowers in the supermarket, but if you bulk it out with the branches, it makes it have a bit of scale and look a bit more impressive. So that's the plan.
Disclaimer, Sophie is not going to attempt to scale this tree to get the other branches. We'll save that for another video.
Do you know what, these hydrangeas look quite nice. I'm going to snip these off. Now my mum is going to watch this and cringe if I'm doing this the wrong time of the year, but needs must. This is what I do for you guys on YouTube. I'm literally hacking at my bushes. Because we've closed down for Christmas, this is one time of the year where my whole team and I definitely get to switch off, because no one contacts you over Christmas. It's so nice. Whereas normally if you're on holiday, even though you're on holiday, you know, maybe not some of the designers, but a lot of the more senior employees, they do respond to emails, and I try and tell them off and say, like, you need to have a break because you will burn out. But I know I'm guilty of it as well. Like, I don't really ever switch off apart from this one time. So we're just all really looking forward to, I was just chatting to Brett and Anthony on Teams before, we're all just looking forward to having this break. I think we all really need it. We've worked really hard, achieved a huge amount, and it's just nice when you get to completely switch off and you come back and you feel rejuvenated, and hopefully I'll have a sparkle in my eye and won't look exhausted. So now we've gathered all the foliage and the flowers. To be honest, I'm just making it up as I go along, but I think that's the nice thing with doing your flowers at your own home and using your own flowers from the garden or foliage, is just have fun with it, just play. And if it looks terrible, I'm just going to cut this from the film and it never happened. No one needs to know. No one will know. But yeah, I think like, just try not to be a perfectionist with yourself. You know, obviously this isn't going to look as good as when Celeste has done it, but it's just about making those little homely touches. And I think that's what I always love to try and get across with this channel, is making little tweaks, doing little styling, all those things that you notice when you go to hotels or other people's homes. When you do these little change-ups in your home, it almost makes you feel like you're falling in love with your home again, because you need to put some love into it. Even though you might have renovated it, you might have decorated it, if you don't do that styling on a regular basis and you don't mix it up, it doesn't have that touch of homeliness that's so nice, especially this time of year. Even though I'm an interior designer and I spend my life like zhuzhing other people's houses and designing other people's houses, sometimes I feel like, oh, can I really be bothered to do it in my own home? But I never, ever fail to appreciate it after I've done it. And I'm lucky my husband's very visually aware. He loves like when the house is looking nice. I think it's for me, it's like a love language, it's an act of love. Like if you're come home and you've had a busy day, and if I come home and there's music on and he's lit a few candles, dim the lights, it just makes you feel so much more comforted and soothed than if you come back to an empty house where no lights are on. And you know, if you're the only one that's doing it, I guess sometimes it could get a bit like tedious, but I'm lucky that he really appreciates it, and he's always trying to make our house homely as well. So he's actually ill today, poor Mr. P. I was ill last week. It wasn't COVID, but it was some kind of virus that makes you feel really sick and takes all your energy. So he's in bed right now. So when he does feel better, hopefully, these will still be looking beautiful, and it'll be a nice surprise for him to come down to.
Shout out to Mr. P, get well soon.
Yeah. It's just going round. Ava had it over the weekend as well. It's awful when your children are ill. I think she gets really high fevers. She had a fever of 39.8, which was terrifying, because if it gets to 40, you have to take them to hospital. You obviously don't want to be taking your children to hospital. But it's just one of those things. It's this time of year. So that's the not so good thing about the sort of Christmas period. How's this looking, Ollie?
This is looking good.
I mean,
there is a vision happening.
Is there a vision? Because I'm losing the vision.
Okay, well,
I'm glad you got hope.
An attempt was made.
An attempt was made. There will be something in the vases. I'm not like Celeste. If you're watching this, don't judge me. But I think as well, like, I'm lucky that I get to work with amazing florists like Celeste and John Carter. My sister Charlotte, she owns a floristry company, Wildwood London. She does a lot of our faux flowers, and that's amazing. You know, having your house done by a professional, there's nothing quite like it. But it's still one of my passions as well, flowers. And so I feel like, don't be scared just because it might not look as good. Don't be scared to like feel like you can't do that anymore yourself. It's a fun thing to do. My daughter actually loves flower arranging. She's definitely picked up things from me over the last few years. And whenever I buy flowers now and I go to the florist, I always have to buy her a few, and she likes arranging them. And then I have to like hide my winky eye while she like arranges them, not how I intended them to be done, but actually she's got great vision. And I think that's the thing with children. Unless you let them try and get involved, you know, they're never going to learn these kind of skills. And I'm so grateful to my mum that she always let me get involved, you know, whether it was picking carpets for our house, or, you know, we used to strip wallpaper. You know, we didn't have a team of builders, so we did everything ourselves. And it's so nice that like I learned all those skills, and it's something that I'm mindful of where we are very privileged, that I need to make sure I'm teaching my children life skills, not just, okay, well, you're going to have a housekeeper to do that for you. You actually need to know how to do that yourself. I don't want them going off into their lives not knowing how to do things. And not that flowers is a life skill, but it's a nice skill to have. And I want them to sort of be aware of their surroundings and be able to enjoy that. You know, I've spoken about it in previous videos, but our family is so important to us. It didn't come easy to us having a family, and just being able to make these memories for the children and for our wider family is so important to me. So I love hosting, and I just love trying to make it feel as magical as possible. And things that we've enjoyed this year doing with the children is like decorating the tree. Like my husband, I think we put them up mid-November because we use fake trees. We get ours from Balsam Hill. We were struggling for something to do one weekend. He was like, let's put the trees up. And I was a bit of a bar humbug about it. I was like, oh, I really can't be bothered. Not yet. But the kids got so into it, and it's so nice. The more you involve them in things, the more they can enjoy it and appreciate it. And Oscar, you know, for weeks now, he's been going past the Christmas trees and be like, beautiful, wow. He's only 3. But I guess you just underestimate how much they like getting involved in that too. It's not all about just taking them out to see Christmas shows. It's doing things like that. And then on Friday, when Ava was really poorly, I took the day off work, and we just ended up doing some Christmas crafts together. So we drew some Christmas trees, and then her favourite thing to do is she loves going up into my office. So I took her to my office, and we raided some of our samples, and we got some Simon & Son trims, and we made our own sort of baubles to go on these trees. So this was me and Ava's Friday afternoon activity when she was feeling poorly. We drew out these little Christmas trees and cut them out on card, This was one of Ava's, and this was one of Ava's. And don't judge me, but these, these were mine. And then we went to my office and rated all my samples, and these are all trims that we have from our sample collection for cushion trims and curtain trims. And we've turned them into little Christmas tree decorations. This is leather piping from Samuel & Sons. Thank you for sponsoring our tree. But it was such a fun little thing to do, and I think, again, just thinking about things you can do with your children this time of year, it's so easy to get carried away and spend a lot of money, but you know, I guess I'm lucky I'm interior design that I've got samples like this lying around, but everyone has ribbon or stuff that you've got, you know, whenever someone sends me a nice present that's nicely wrapped, I always keep the ribbon. So if you're thinking of something to do with your children, like this is such an easy, fun thing to do, and we both absolutely loved it. And then we've punched a hole in the top. These are actually blue tacked onto our windows in the playroom. But Ava's told me next year we're hanging these on the tree.
She's thought about application.
Oh, she's got it all sorted. She's the real boss. So let's get started with the front door. Of course, first impressions are everything, and what better way to make a festive statement than do a wreath on your door. This one is from Ronnie Colby. It's called their Jack Frost wreath, and I absolutely love it. I think it's so pretty with this beautiful velvet ribbon. It's very classical. And I also love these lighter grey tones, I think tone so nicely with the taupe colour on the door, and some pussy willow. It's got so many beautiful elements to it. It's really decorative. It's all natural. And I do like to have a natural wreath. You'll see in the house, I've got a lot of fake trees, my garland's fake. But I think there's something so special about having a real wreath and the fact that you can change it up every year. So this one's Ronnie Colby, and I'll put the link in the description box. But come on in and see what else we've been up to. So on the main staircase, I have this beautiful faux garland from Balsam Hill. This is called the Mountain Meadow Garland. I actually got 4 pieces of it. It comes in different lengths of either 6 feet or 10 feet. And I had 4 pieces last year, and then it sold out and I didn't have enough to do the rest of the staircase, so it drove me mad. But I was waiting for it to come into stock all year so I could do the whole staircase. And actually I have to fully disclose, they sent me this as a PR item. So thank you, Balsam Hill. They've not sponsored the video, but they did send me some extra garland, which I was really grateful for. And there's a couple of things to be mindful of when you're using a garland. I do prefer fake garlands to real, because on a staircase it drops needles the whole time. I've done a real one a few years ago, and I just found myself cleaning the stairs every day. But what I've done is I've started it on the inside on this first run of stairs, because as you go through the door you want to think, what are you going to see more, the inside or the outside? And then as you get to the half landing, I've fed it through and gone to the outside of the banister, because again you notice it more. So just be mindful of that when you're putting a garland in your own home, what side will look better. And then the other thing to be mindful of is if you do have young children, I have learned, Oscar keeps complaining to me that he can't hold on to the banister as well, because the garlands, or the leaves as he calls it, are poking him in the eye. So there's a bit of compromise there. I mean, child might fall down the stairs, but at least it looks nice. And they come with these wires that you can sort of twist around your banister, and then I've literally just got a bit of twine string and tied it to the banister. Every time I kind of want to do these loops, and the longer you can do the loop, more luxurious it will look. I haven't been super generous here because, like I said, I started it and I didn't have enough to go all the way around, whereas if I was doing it again, I'd probably go a bit deeper with each loop. But that will give you a very sort of traditional Christmas feel if you can sort of do that swag on it rather than just running it straight along the top. It looks a lot nicer. This is Oscar's tree, and obviously he's the smallest in the family, so he's got the smallest tree, but actually it's one of my favourites. We went for a very preppy, very traditional Christmas theme with all the red, and I love these little candy canes and the striped balls. I tried to pick baubles that weren't so fragile for his room, so these are fabric. There's nothing that's glass. This one might be glass. But he's got little teddies, and this one's a particular favourite. I think this one's by Gisela Graham. I've been buying these for years. But the little gingerbread house, how cute is that? And then for the top, I don't always necessarily do a star. I found these little bow decorations. I thought they looked really cute, so I've just clipped one of those. They clip on at the back. I can't remember where I got them all from. I think I bought these all in a local garden centre. This one was from a National Trust property. But I think it's nice to just pick up decorations as you go along, and I have a sort of loose theme for each tree, but each year we might buy a new decoration. But certainly I wouldn't ever scrap all my decorations and start again. When I see some influencers, they literally change their entire Christmas decor every year. For me, that just goes against everything that Christmas is about. Like, I love getting out the same old decorations that I've had for years and years. It's kind of like seeing old friends, and it's just so wasteful to chuck it all away and start again. So that's certainly not what we're doing. And I think today with this video, you know, we did a Christmas styling video last year, and me and Ollie were kind of brainstorming, like, what do we want to do? And I'm like, well, I don't want to show exactly the same decorations that we showed last year. I'm not going to like get rid of them all again just to create some new content. So obviously we're going to show you the trees, but then I really wanted to sit down with you guys as well and talk about like Christmas plans and gift ideas and things that you can do at Christmas as well, just to make sure that I'm not doing copy and paste from last year's video. This is Ava's tree. We bought this last year, and when I gave her this tree, the deal was that she could decorate it however she wanted, because she has quite sort of creative director vibes, and I wanted the rest of the trees in the house to be what I wanted. So this did not look like this last year. Like, I think Ollie might have some throwback footage, but it was just like rainbow coloured, like no theme whatsoever. I was like, it's fine, it's her tree. So anyway, this year she made all my dreams come true. And she said to me, Mummy, as she was unpacking all the decorations, I don't want any of those. That doesn't go with the decor. I just want to do it matching to my room. And I was like, thank you. So we rejected a whole load of decorations that we've now got to gift to someone. But she's picked out just all the ones that she thinks work with her room. So she's got these lovely little pink ones, and these animal ones that we already had, which work so well with the safari wallpaper. And I know there's going to be some of you that are watching this being like, this is not the Christmas spirit about decorating and matching to your decor. Well, don't watch my channel. That's all I can say to that, because it is in this house. And again, she's got some of the gingerbread decorations, like Oscar's got this little rocking horse, so cute. But yeah, can't tell you how happy I am that it now matches the rest of the decor.
Ava stepped her game up.
She's definitely stepped her game up. I mean, God knows what she's going to want next year, because she does not like, she's not of the same mindset as me that you get your Christmas decor and you live with it for life. She seems to like to start from fresh. So hopefully there's no goth phase next year. The other thing that's changed in Ava's room is this little dressing table that I bought for her in her birthday in September. Now, Ava's been on at me for years that she wanted a dressing table like mine. She loves sitting at my dressing table with me when I'm doing my makeup. So she had a very sort of specific request that it had to have a drawer. And like I say, she's really into history. So I thought, what better thing to do than buy her an antique dressing table, so it's got a bit of history to it. And when I said this idea to her, she absolutely loved it. But then it took a long time to find the right dressing table, because it's quite a tight space here. I needed a certain size. I didn't want it too big where she's only 6, and it had to have a drawer. And I also wanted it in oak, because oak is my favourite wood, but also I knew that probably I'd have to refinish it where the whole decor in here is quite light. If I had a sort of dark brown mahogany dressing table, it would just jar, it wouldn't go with everything else. So what we did was I bought this from an antique dealer, and it had such a lovely story. It belonged to a lady who had been Miss English Rose back in, I think, the 1930s. And then she had bought it from his original antique firm that I think his father had owned. And then when she passed away, sadly, a couple of years ago, the family sold it back to him. And when I said to him that my daughter was buying it, he thought that was so nice, because it's gone from one English rose to another English rose. And obviously Ava loved that story as well, because she looked up all the history. And then I had our French polisher Donald, who's so talented. He's refinished a few pieces in my house. He stripped off all the lacquer to sort of show the natural oak, which is much lighter. And then he's refinished it, so he's done a sort of light lacquering. It's got a sort of white wash on the oak, so it tones nicely with all the rest of the joinery that we have in the rest of the room. But the one thing I didn't want to change was the original leather top, because I love the fact that it's got this patina. It's so marked and it's got all these stains, but I think that's nice, that's part of its story, and I didn't want it to look like a completely brand new piece of furniture. And of course we kept all the original handles as well. So Ava loves that. And then she stole my dressing table chair from my dressing room, but it works so nicely together, so I was like, fine, you can have it. And then I also got her one of the Mirrors Armac Mirror collection, and the medium size, so she can sit here with her pretend makeup and do her makeup. And she loves when she has play dates. This is the first place she comes with all her friends. And I don't want this to turn into an Ava bedroom tour, but there's just been quite a few changes in here. So the other thing that I changed after we did this amazing project in London, where the daughter's room was so perfectly organised, I came home and I was like, Ava needs more storage. So as well as a dressing table, I designed her an island, which is similar to the island that's in my dressing room. So on this side, you can see it's got this beautiful wall covering, so it matches the wardrobe doors that we already had. And these were some handles that we're launching next month with Armac Martin. They're called bamboo handles. Obviously they're inspired by the shape of the bamboo. So I knew that I wanted to use those because I thought they'd look really pretty and elegant on this. But on this side, she has room for all her shoes. I mean, is that not the dream? I'm definitely living vicariously through my 6-year-old. and it was so sweet when I got her this and she knew it was coming. She was like, Mummy, I'm so excited. I can't wait to organise it all. And I was like, Ava, we're so the same. So we were kind of like, I was having to sort of hold myself back because I really wanted to organise it and lay everything out, but she absolutely loves doing that. So she's organised all her shoes, and I designed it so there's enough space, like although her feet are only small right now, obviously you need to allow expansion space. So I measured what my shoes were and added on a bit because she's probably going to be taller than me and bigger than me. And I did a different leather on the top. This isn't the wall covering, this is a faux char green, so it's a bit more hard wearing. And then she's got drawer storage with like some of her bags, like a cute little beaded bag. And what that meant was that then we had enough space for all the hanging. So before, this was a combination of hanging and shelves, whereas now she's got all her stuff and it's categorised by types, all her coats and then jumpers. I mean, it's not quite like colour-coded, but it's a lot more organised and more space than there was before. And then, I don't know if you've seen the room tour, you might remember that we used to have a rocking chair in this corner, but then when we put the island in, there wasn't enough room for the rocking chair and we never really used it. So last week, with Ava's permission, we did a furniture sale from my house. So like all the pieces of furniture that I don't use anymore, I decided to sell them on Instagram and give all the proceeds to charity. So when I told her about this, at first she gets quite sort of sentimentally attached to her furniture and things. Even though she's very, very kind, she just loves like familiarity and loves the things around her. So when I said, oh, I'm thinking about selling it for charity, is that okay? She's like, oh, I don't know, I think I might miss it. I was like, well, we don't have room for it anymore because we've got the island. And then I explained to her where the money was going to go. So I was going to give the money, and it's all gone to the charity now. It was split between Cavell Nurses Trust. I'll link it in the description box. But I've supported them for quite a few years. My sister used to be a nurse for the NHS. And when she was working as a nurse, she was lucky, you know, the salary that they get paid is like ridiculously low. It's such a joke. Considering how hard they work, it actually makes me really angry. A lot of her friends who were nurses couldn't afford to buy their groceries, couldn't afford to pay their utility bills, and this is even before the cost of living crisis. And so she said to me when I was wanting to do support some more charities, she said, oh, this is a really good charity, and I know that they really are active on the ground. They've helped people I know, so I've helped them for a few years. And then also the Oasis Children's Foundation, which is a local charity that supports vulnerable children that might go into care, or perhaps their parents can't afford to buy all the things that they need. So it supports a lot of local families. So the money got split between those two charities. And then I sold some other pieces like some art and a sofa. What else? Oh, a cushion as well. But she was so sweet about it. When you involve children in charity, like although she was a bit sentimentally attached, straight away she was like, oh, that makes me really happy. And then she said to me, oh Mum, can we also give Stripey Stalk some money? And I was like, I've never even heard of Stripey Stalk. The Stripey Stalk's another children's charity for sort of underprivileged children. You can go onto their website and buy Christmas presents for them. So then we went on their website, bought them some Christmas presents. And it was so nice like doing this with her and seeing how sort of open to charity and how kind-hearted children are. And I think it's good to do charity work, but it's even better if you can involve your children. So I was so proud of her that she did that. And in the end, we raised £4,650 that went to those 2 charities, and that was literally in 2 days. So, you know, I'm super lucky, and I think it's so important to give back. But I think if you're looking around your home and there's things that you don't use and that you can sell those and give the money to charity, you know, if you're in a position to do that, that's absolutely what you should do. I'm filming this on Monday and you're going to be seeing this on Friday, and so this is my public service announcement that if you haven't bought your Christmas presents now, you have 3 weeks left to go. So I thought on that note I would share with you some ideas of some good gifts. We don't personally go in for big extravagant gifts. My husband and I, we've been together for 20 years, so we kind of have everything that we'd want, and we don't want to buy things for the sake of it, but I think it's nice to have something to open on the day. So I'm going to share with you some of the ideas of things that I would like if he's watching this. I've actually raided my Christmas gift cupboard because I knew something that he'd bought me and I wanted to share it with you guys. So these are just a few ideas that I've had. The first thing is these slippers that I've just literally run upstairs and convinced him to let me open so that I could share with you. They are so comfortable, and I'm so specific about a slipper. I know this is really nerdy, but I'm a real home girl and I like to get my slippers right. So I always like something that's got a back, has to be furry, and it has to have a rubber sole because we have stone floors here, and sometimes I might like nip out onto the terrace in the morning if I'm having a coffee, so I like to make sure it's nice and secure. So I'll link these in the description box. They're from the White Company, and I also love the colour. And then this is another thing that I'm not getting this for Christmas because I've already got one, but how nicely does that go? So this is the robe from our Co's collection. This is the merino and cashmere blend. It's a really good price. And you can see I've got that monogram there. So this is basically what I live in 90% of the time when I'm not being filmed, with my hair in a high bun. But what I love about this robe is, you know, when your door goes really early in the morning, it's like the postman, or like here it might be builders. I hate answering the door in my pajamas or my nightwear. It's just, honestly, it's like the most embarrassing thing ever. If I'm wearing this, I feel slightly more put together. And especially now my new fancy slippers that I have to go and put back in the Christmas cupboard. I'm really excited about getting those. So I'll link this in the description box too. Another great gift idea, if you want to get someone that loves interiors a present, I personally love reading magazines. Now that I'm a mum, I don't get much time to read them, but for me it's such an indulgent treat, and I do love reading a real magazine rather than online. I spend so much time on my phone that I think you definitely switch off more if you're reading a real book or a real magazine. Homes and Gardens have actually offered me a discount code to share with you guys, which is SOF10, gets you 10% off. And again, I'll share the link in the description box. And also, if you subscribe for 6 magazines, they will give you a leather embossed notebook that's worth £40 as well. So that seems like quite a good offer. And Homes and Gardens is one of my favourite magazines anyway, so it's great that they're doing that discount. The Edison for us photo frames. We haven't seen these for a couple of hours. I do feel slightly embarrassed how much I talk about these, but honestly, like, I have lots of collections. I've got cushions, throws, wallpaper. I'm not gonna sit here and promote everything, but I think for me a photo frame is such a great present. And with the Addison Ross photo frames, you can also upload any photo that you want, and they'll print it, put it in the photo frame free of charge, and delivery is free of charge as well to pretty much anywhere in the world. And these ones do, I think they can send it anywhere in the world within 3 days. That's great. They have a discount on their website, which is 4 for 3. So if you want to buy 4 frames, you get them for the price of 3, which is great. Most of the colours have sold out. We still have this colour, the moss, which I think probably I chose that name, but it's probably not the right name because I think that might make people think it's more green than it is. I would describe this more as like a celadon colour. It's a very light, almost neutral colour. The Midnight is still available, which I love. It's such a pretty combination with the bronze and the dark blue. Matches my outfit perfectly. And then we also have the Town one as well. So those 3 are available. There is limited stock, but hopefully when you're watching this, there will be some left. You can never get enough candles. These are my favourite ones. You can see I'm burning it here as well. This is actually the candied orange, so I like this smell as well, and I think it smells particularly Christmassy. So I'll link that in the description box as well. If you ever want to buy me a present, anything from Bamford or Daylesford, and I will love you forever. And then I have 2 more gift ideas for you. I quite often get messages, especially on Instagram, of people like husbands being like, what can I buy my wife? She loves following you. I'm not going to hire you to design our home. Any other ideas? And I quite often will send them a link on Amazon to the Andrew Martin Interior Design Reviews. We don't have a book ourselves. I did do a book years ago, probably back in like 2010, I think it was, which was called Glamour and Style. And all the proceeds of that book went to an animal shelter because I'm a huge animal lover. But I took it out of circulation. It raised quite a lot of money for charity, which was great, but I took it out of circulation because it wasn't really reflective of the interiors and the work that we do now, and I didn't want people to buy it and be disappointed. So I quite often will still get like 1 or 2 emails a month of people being like, where can I buy that book, Glamour and Style? I'm like, it's gone, it's locked down, I'm never selling it again, but one day we will bring out another book. But in the meantime, we are in the Andrew Martin review. This is the latest one from this year, edition 26. And they've been quite generous with us. They've given us a few pages. So this is our first page. This is a beautiful townhouse we designed in Kensington. Another project in Knightsbridge, and a project in Mayfair. But there's also, it's the top 100 interior designers, so you're going to see some amazing work from lots of different designers, not just us, and I think that's a great gift idea. I've been having these for like 20 years. Now I promise you this is not turning into a QVC channel, this is just a one-off for Christmas, but with FROMENTAL, for the first time ever, they did a Black Friday discount. They never sell anything in a sale, but I managed to talk them into it. But obviously that's finishing today. So I've just spoken to Harriet at FROMENTAL, and she's agreed to extend the offer. So this piece of art, it won't be across all of them because some of them are sold out already. This one, the magnolia branches, and another one of these in a different colourway will be in the sale. So I'll share the links to all of those in the description box. And they've agreed to do 20% off, and I'll share the discount code that you need to use to get that. So for me, this is the amazing present. I think it's so beautiful because it's all hand painted, and the cost of this, you know, I wouldn't be able to get this made in the UK if I was buying just one of these one off and commissioning it anywhere close to what we sell them for, but because we did them in bulk and FROMENTAL had their own studio, we were able to keep costs down and get them framed with this beautiful bronze frame as well. So this is a great opportunity. She has told me there will be no more sales after this, so now or never. Obviously this is the season that is all about giving, and so I really wanted to take this opportunity to highlight some charities that I'll be donating to during this festive period. It's obviously a very difficult time for lots of people with the cost of living crisis, but these are charities that are really close to my heart and are going to be particularly affected by the cost of living. So the first one I wanted to talk to you about was Furnishing Futures. This charity was set up by an interior designer who basically, from her own garage, was collecting furniture and furnishing the homes of women that have left refuges, and they've been put into social housing, and most social housing is given to these women completely empty, so no furniture, no beds, nothing. And having worked with some refugees in the past, I fully understand how important their surroundings are for them. If they're leaving their home, and this isn't just like women that are fleeing, you know, impoverished homes, it affects all areas, all classes, all sort of economic statuses of people. If they're taking their children away from a home that on the surface might seem like they've got everything, and then they're taking them to this empty shell where they don't know anyone, it's incredibly hard. So if they can have a space that feels more homely, it makes that transition and that change so much easier for them. So she's absolutely amazing. This lady, what she's achieved in such a short period of time is amazing, and it's a charity that I really like to support, and there's lots of different ways you can support them, whether it's donating furniture, obviously it has to be good quality furniture, or you can buy something from a wish list, Or if you want to volunteer, they also take volunteers. You don't have to be an interior designer. You can also just be someone that's willing to get stuck in. But I'll share their link in the description box. I think they do absolutely amazing work. But if you're looking for gift ideas for someone who's impossible to buy for, they also do these bundles of love. So you can buy a bundle of love for £50, which is sponsoring a wellbeing bundle for women starting again after domestic abuse. Or you could do a baby and children's bundle for £100, which gives all the essential items that babies and children need. So I think this is such a lovely idea. Or even you could do a household essentials for £150. Really, these women are starting from complete scratch. They have nothing. It's quite hard to talk about without to get emotional, but it's just like really brings it home how difficult it is for some people. And I think particularly this time of year, you imagine if you're a woman leaving your home, whether you're going to a refuge or leaving a refuge, and you're starting and you're in an empty property that feels really cold and you're not homely, and there's everyone else that's got their Christmas decorations up and they're buying their children gifts. It must be incredibly hard as a mother to do that. So I wanted to highlight that. The reason I want to share these charities, it's always a careful balance how much you want to share. I do a lot of charity work behind the scenes that I don't talk about, but I think having the platform that I have, it's so important to sort of shine a spotlight on these charities that do amazing work. It's not about what I've given them, but if any of you out there are wanting to do some charity work, I sometimes find I have to research everything, and I'm so paranoid, like, is this a good charity? Are they really reaching the people that need the help? These are all charities that I've vetted, that I've gone to go and see, that I've been supporting for a long, long time, and I feel 100% confident that they're using the money in the best possible way and they're really helping people. They don't have huge overheads. They're very nimble, small charities that are just funneling all the money to the people that need it. The charity that I really learned a lot about, domestic abuse and women that are in difficult situations with, is a charity called I Choose Freedom charity. It used to be called the RBWA, and it's a women's refuge for women that are fleeing domestic abuse. And I went to go and see this refuge maybe about a year and a half ago, and I met all the women that run it, the lady that founded it, Charlotte. And a lot of the women that work there are domestic abuse survivors, so a lot of them shared their stories with me. And I'll never forget the lady that runs that charity saying to me that she gets, I think it was about 3 or 4 phone calls every single day with a woman who will be in her car having fled her husband or partner, possibly sleeping in the car with a baby, and she's ringing this refuge. It's like her last hope, and Charlotte has to turn sometimes 2, 3 of these women down a day because she just doesn't have the space. And it's a real struggle. I don't know how they keep going. They work insane hours, these people that work at the refuges. But I guess when you're at the front line, you're seeing what these people are having to go through. These vulnerable children, vulnerable women, you just can't say no. So they're an amazing charity that I would definitely support all year round, but particularly right now as well. They really need all the help they can get. On a more uplifting note, I think it's really important to highlight those charities, and I hope that, if any of you are interested in giving to them, that you can give what you can give. I know not everyone is in a position to do that right now, so please don't feel any pressure or judgment. It's only if you're in a position that you are able to give to these charities that they are very worthy causes. But I also wanted to share some ideas of things that you can do this Christmas time, because again, there's a lot of pressure on everyone. Social media is definitely ramping up the pressure on parents this year, as it does every year, to make sure that you're making Christmas magical for children and for your loved ones. And I think it's just important that, as someone who has a platform, that I'm not part of that sort of perpetuating all the materialism that we have at this time of year. Yes, it's nice to be given a gift. It's nice to show someone that you're thinking about them, but you don't need to buy loads and loads of things for your children or loads and loads of things for your partner. There's so many other ways that you can enjoy this time together and make it feel really special. So one of the best things that I've done so far this festive period is the DIY crafts that I did with Ava, that Ollie will share some footage of those. And I think for me, it was just a really recent reminder of how much children don't care about these big fancy days out. You can take them to Lapland, UK, or you know, take them shopping to Harrods if you want, and that's nice, but actually what I think they really care about, and certainly what Ava responds most to, is when I'm just fully present with her and I don't need to be going to some fancy place to do that. You know, doing some crafts, using some ribbon and doing some colouring in with her when I was like completely in the room, didn't have my phone, that meant so much more to her. Another thing that we do, it's not free, but it's not like really expensive, is every year we take them to either the Kew Gardens or the RHS Wisley Gardens light show, which is such a lovely thing to do with children, but all people of all ages, and they do these amazing light displays and it just feels really Christmassy and festive. You get all wrapped up. Sadly, we couldn't go this year. We had tickets for Friday, but Ava was ill, unfortunately. But it's such a lovely thing to do. So if you can still get tickets for those, I highly recommend it. And then another thing that we like to do, which is a bit of a Christmas tradition for us, is we love walking around London with the kids in the evening and seeing all the lights. Like the lights down Regent Street are just absolutely beautiful, and that doesn't cost a thing. And I think it's so nice if you can go get a hot chocolate, you know, pack a little picnic, whatever you need to do, and just walk around London. For me, that's one of the most magical things about the city, is just seeing all the lights. All the buildings are lit up beautifully, and actually I prefer watching the ice skating and watching all these things rather than partaking. So if you can walk your way from Regent Street down to West London and go and see the Natural History Museum, that's a really fun thing to do. Watch everyone sort of cheat near-death experiences on the ice.
I know a thing or two about that
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, and then last year, another place that we love to go, and it's quite near to me here in Surrey, is the Hampton Court ice rink. Is really such a beautiful setting. We took the whole team there last year. It was such a magical evening. I mean, I was so happy when I got to take my ice skates off and I didn't have to ice skate anymore. But like I said, I really enjoy watching everyone else do it. And then if you are local to the area, one of Kevin's friends actually was asking me, or asking him for some date advice, and he was going to take her clay pigeon shooting, and I was like, don't take her clay pigeon shooting. No girl enjoys that. Kevin actually took me clay pigeon shooting early on in our relationship when I used to pretend to be happy all the time and like everything that he did, and I hated it. It's not my idea of fun, but I said, look, take her to the ice skating rink. It's super romantic. You can have a drink afterwards, have a hot chocolate, or you could go across to the Mitre, which is just on the other side of the road, and have a drink on their outdoor terrace or have some dinner. That would be super romantic, and I can't think of any girl that wouldn't love that date. So there's just a few ideas of things that you can do this festive period just to make it feel more special. I think it's such a special time of year, and it's all just about having time with your loved ones. It's not about what you spend. Okay guys, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love showing you around my home and talking things Christmas with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to know what I really want for Christmas, we want to hit 100K. So if you want to make this interior designer very happy, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like more regular content, you can also follow us at Instagram at Sophie Paterson Interiors, and also TikTok at Sophie Paterson Interiors. Otherwise, we will see you in 2 weeks on the 15th when we're releasing part 1 of our Portugal project. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.